What is going on, everybody? T-Flame here, and I just beat the first chapter of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I gotta say, oh my god, I'm already in love with this game. However, I know that I've been doing a lot of spoiler-free content. This video is going to contain spoilers for the first chapter of Xenoblade 3. The thumbnail didn't have any spoilers, and I'm gonna keep the thumbnails spoiler free as I go through the chapters, but regardless, spoilers for the entirety of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 chapter 1. So I think these videos are going to be very casual. I talk about my reactions because I want to record. I'm recording one of these immediately after I've finished any chapter. So I haven't even played through chapter 2. I mean, I've seen the beginning cutscenes of chapter 2, but I haven't played through chapter 2. So regardless, this game is mega fast paced, right? And pretty much 90% of everything you see in the trailers happens within the beginning, within this entire chapter. Literally, pretty much most of what you see in the trailers are in these chapters. There's a couple of things I haven't seen yet, but most of everything we know is in these chapters. And something else I want to note is, if you've been watching the content on my channel, they touch on a lot I've been talking about. Like, for example, Ouroboros is the fusion between someone from Agnes and someone from Kevis. Like, only those two nations can fuse together. It can't be two from Agnes, two from Kevis, like I suggested in my theory. And then not only that, everyone starts turning against him because the unity is something that is apparently the worse than them fighting each other. And yeah, there are people who live outside of the 10 years limits, right? And Van Damme is one of those, we come to find out, which I had already suspected. And so this chapter is very fast paced, you know, and getting into the gameplay, the combat, I think it's my favorite combat system because it is essentially Xenoblade 2's combat, kind of. The button layout is essentially Xenoblade 2 mixed with the party. You could tell the party what to do, which was in 2, but mainly was kind of like one of the focuses in Xenoblade 1. And honestly, the combat is pretty straightforward. Like, there's not, I mean, I'm still at the beginning of the game, so there's probably other things I'm going to unlock, but it's not like there's not a whole lot of hard, monotonous things to understand, like the elemental system, which was cool in 2, but you had to learn what particularly like what allowed you to get elemental bursts on what element and whatnot, right? You don't have to worry about that here. It's pretty straightforward, and I think one of the easiest combat systems to learn. The item system, the attachments and systems looks pretty solid. Like, I think there's probably going to be ways to get better items, but I know there's a whole thing to get aux cores and everything in previous games, which I just didn't do. And yeah, so getting into the actual story of the game, it is the fusion of 1 and 2. Literally, you see the two worlds just poof together. I think Xenoblade 1's world is represented by the color blue, and Xenoblade 2 is represented by this greenish yellow color. Well, that was just the worlds, the colors of them when they fused. I'm not sure if that means a lot, but regardless, it is, wow. This game is also clearly going to be a lot darker than the other two. I also talked about this in my previous videos about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 being the darkest, and it doesn't hide that. Like, people die within the first 10 minutes of the game. Like, you see people dying, and then it's like Noah's questioning. We're fighting Kevis, and I mean, not Kevis, we're fighting Agnes, and you see Noah really just struggle with the fact that, like, he's just serving the kill, right? LANZ and Uni are a little bit more rash, but they support Noah. However, they are essentially brought into this world at, I want to say, 8 years old. They start their lives at like 8 years old, and then 10 years from that, poof. And so, as you suspect, the main overarching, the main thing that they are going to be fighting against is the idea of them only living for 10 years. right? And so the beginning of the game, you know, you got the very structural one. You're fighting. You start off playing with Noah, Uni, and Noah, Uni, and LANZ, and then you get this other guy. What was his name? Well, he dies anyway. But spoiler: the fourth party member you get gets killed right before his 10th term, because the homegoing ceremony is something everyone loves. Apparently, LANZ even wants to have one, right? But Noah sees it as kind of like it's not something he's been looking forward to, clearly. And so there's this big mission where you go. You see, there's a point where you fight where you fight Agnes troops, and then that's where you meet the other half, and you fight them, right? You fight the other half. You fight Tyon and Mio and Senna. You fight them, right? And then Van Damme gets in the middle and kind of stops them and says, "What are y'all fighting for?" Their goal was to get the ether thing that Van Damme had. Both nations were going after it, but they ended up fighting each other. Van Damme was like, "Y'all don't have to fight. The real enemy is," boom, he gets shot by the big bad Ouroboros guy who says you have a real death wish in the trailer. I think, what was his name? I need to take notes of these names. I have it down. I was texting my friend about it. Mobius is the thing's name, and then you fight him, and then you end up fusing. You get the Ouroboros really early. Like, it's crazy. I didn't expect to get the Ouroboros in this chapter, but Mio and Noah fuse, and then it's basically like they see each other, and they see essentially that they both feel the same things. At first, when the group met, that they're very angsty towards each other because they're the enemy. They're the ones who's been killing our closest friends and quote-unquote family, right? But then when Noah and Mio fuse, they see we both share the same grief. And then, so it caused them to question, are these people really that different? Is their pain really different? It's not. It's the same pain. And so the group leaves off after that. They're kind of like, screw it, we're going back to home, because they still got to report, because they were on a mission this entire time. So they got to report, especially because they both lost key members. Except when they go back to their respective places, their respective nations, like the colonies, because both of them hail from different colonies. When they go back to their colonies, they are not welcome. The entire colony turns against both of them. Because this Ouroboros guy, Mobius, did something, and now you notice that everyone has like this thing in their eye that allows them to see certain things. However, everyone's eye is blue at the beginning of the game. I mean, like the very beginning. Even Noah and Uni and LANZ, all theirs is blue. But then once they go back to the colony after the Ouroboros thing, everyone's eye is red, and they're targeting the main party. And so the main party basically comes together, like all six come together because they've been outcast from their nations, which happened as a result of the Ouroboros fusion thing. So it's a really fast-paced chapter. I honestly recommend you watch all the cutscenes, and I'm in love with the game. I am so in love. I think it's gonna take me a minute before I can fully analyze everything, but I think the important thing to note is the key takeaways from this chapter is that they're going to be going to Swordmark, which is sort of like a third nation. It is Van Damme's city. It's like a third nation because the people that live there, we find out Van Damme has lived on for longer than 10 years, 60 years. And Van Damme dies, but he basically tells the group that like, hey, yo, y'all need to live more than 10 years. That's the purpose of y'all life. And they need to restore what was lost, right? So restore is, it's going to be interesting to see how the party's going to go about that. But, I mean, I'm rushing to get back to this game. It's a whole lot. I'm probably going to do a bigger analysis video once I get through a couple chapters. But yeah, absolutely in love with this game. I highly recommend watch the cutscenes, I guess, if you can't get the game. But if you are getting the game soon, just make sure to hold off. It's going to be worth the wait, I promise. I promise to you it's going to be worth the wait. Like, I genuinely promise. So I'm going to be doing more of these analysis. This one's kind of like a base analysis because I'm still playing the game. I'm still learning how a lot of things are going to be impacted in the story. But a lot of my theories are coming kind of true. So I want to see how correct I can get. How much more right am I? But regardless, thank y'all for the support. I can't wait to get into more of this game. I'm literally going to go run and play this game some more. But anyway, I shall catch y'all in the next video. Oh yeah, most important thing ever. Noah called LANZ a lifesaver. He said, Noah, you're a lifesaver. That is the best moment in the entire game. But anyway, I'll see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Make sure to subscribe. Love y'all.